Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Let's talk about the December 8th edition of Monday Night Raw. First, before anything else, we have to just thank the wrestling gods that Jey Uso is done with his singles career for now. I was never a fan of Jey Uso as a singles wrestler. Yes, you can't argue with the fact that every single person and every single arena that he went to absolutely loved the Yeet movement. Loved it. Do I think he should have won a world title at WrestleMania? No. Do I think he should have been the guy to wrestle CM Punk for the vacant world title? No. Do I think he should have been heavily featured in the world title scene over the last 6 months? No. Do I think he's a upper mid-card talent? Yes, in terms of in-ring ability and producing great quality matches in the ring, Jey Uso is an upper mid-card talent. You know who's better than Jey Uso in all aspects as a professional wrestler? LA Knight. You know who's better than Jey Uso as a professional wrestler in all aspects of entertainment and all of the above? Maybe not, maybe slightly. LA Knight's better in all aspects. Maybe slightly better in the entertainment aspect is Jey Uso, but sort of everything else outside of that is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is better. Those two should have been more heavily featured than Jey Uso, but for some reason, Triple H got absolutely attached to the fact that Jey Uso needed the rocket strapped to him, and he needed to win the Royal Rumble, and he needed to win a world title at WrestleMania. Like, just absurd behavior that just didn't pan out. But I don't think his singles career is fully over. We saw him go through this sort of crisis, when he lost to Gunther in that semifinal match. And so I think something's going to happen where eventually he's going to snap. Maybe he's going to snap on Jimmy. Maybe he's going to snap on Roman Reigns. Something is going to happen where Jey Uso is going to snap and the Yeet movement is going to die for now. But that's maybe a longer-term vision for Jey Uso, because the Usos, Jimmy and Jey, are back in the tag team division where they belong, because Jimmy and Jey are probably the best tag team of all time, at least in WWE. At least top 3, top 2, top 5, something in that realm, along with, the New Day and things of that nature over, at least in a recent mindset. And so the Usos are back in the tag team division, which I think is amazing for the tag team division, because right now, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee are on fire. When you look at a real competitor who can go in the ring with literally anyone on the planet, you have someone like AJ Styles. I mean, John Cena mentioned this recently. He said, when fans were chanting, "You can't wrestle," John Cena took that very personally. It's one of the things he most remembers from his career. And who did he go to? He went to Sami Zayn. He went to Kevin Owens. He went to AJ Styles so they could help him get better in the ring. And now you can see John Cena, even in his farewell tour, amazing match with Cody Rhodes, amazing match with Dominic Mysterio, amazing match with Logan Paul. Like, he can actually go in the ring. Same thing happened sort of with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was boring and sort of methodically boring. And it's like everything was like contrived and planned, and it just didn't look fluid. Now Roman Reigns is one of the best goddamn professional wrestlers on the planet and can have a great match with anyone. Same thing happened with John. He didn't like saying, people saying you can't wrestle. Now it's Cena sucks, let's go Cena, all these types of things, sort of polarizing crowds that Cena garnered over his career, and he went to people like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and AJ Styles to make sure that his in-ring skills were amazing. That's why he credits, Shawn Michaels and Seth Rollins as being two of his best opponents, because those are the two of the best, workers of all time, of Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels. And so, also speaking of John Cena, he did sign a 5-year sort of ambassador deal with WWE. So this is not the last time ever we'll see John Cena, but on December 13th is the last time we will see John Cena in his actual fighting wrestling gear. Again, like I said in a previous video, he will come back in a suit and tie and do ambassador type things and host things and have promos and go to meetings and do publicity stuff, because he loves WWE. WWE is in his bones forever. And he's getting a 5-year ambassador deal. So I think that's really cool for WWE and John Cena and all that type of stuff. And so that happened on Monday Night Raw, was the Usos going back into the tag team division. Another match got added for Saturday night's main event with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, along with the main event, of course, being at Saturday night's main event, John Cena's very last match of Gunther versus John Cena. And then there's been some talk on the internet. This is sort of the next big thing that came out of Monday Night Raw, was LA Knight. There's a lot of talk on the internet that LA Knight got buried on Raw. He's getting buried. Looks like they're going to unsign him. Looks like they're going to release LA Knight because they're burying him on Monday Night Raw. That's just not how I saw it. Now, you may have seen it that way. You may see that LA Knight is getting beaten and ending Raw on a stretcher and all these types of things, that he's getting buried so they can write him off TV and so they can release him. I just don't see him that way. I see someone who got heavily featured on WWE's premium show all night. Match with Logan Paul, save Rey Mysterio. Got beaten up at the end of the night, had to get carted off on a stretcher. They're heavily featuring LA Knight because they know how popular he is, and hopefully this is a primer for him winning the Royal Rumble in January. Because I don't think Roman Reigns needs to win the Royal Rumble. I don't think someone as large as that needs to win the Royal Rumble. Like, yes, it's cool that Jey Uso won it last year, and they gave someone new a chance to main event, and it fumbled. It failed. He couldn't handle the ball. He couldn't have the matches that you need to have at the main event level to play at that level. He couldn't compete with a Gunther and AJ Styles and a CM Punk. I mean, you can see it in all of the matches. Just botch after botch after botch. Totally just, okay, I understand sometimes you got to try new things. He could have been a megastar, not the deal. But LA Knight is a better performer inside of that ring. And so I think on this December 8th edition of Monday Night Raw, they are showing you more LA Knight. They are building the utmost sympathy you can possibly build for LA Knight. He got tsunamied on top of a car and stretchered out to end WWE's biggest show, Monday Night Raw, on Netflix. Millions of viewers. They're featuring LA Knight, not to bury him, but to garner sympathy, more sympathy, so he can be that mega babyface that he already is as a really popular entertainer and performer and wrestler. And maybe that's what they're doing to build him to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face someone. I don't know. Maybe he goes on to face Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, because Braun Breaker, hopefully, by the grace of the wrestling gods that we got the Usos back in the tag team division, hopefully the same wrestling gods have Braun Breaker beat CM Punk on the 1-year anniversary show on Netflix, and then, boom, a couple weeks later, LA Knight wins the Royal Rumble, and then you have a huge clash of, building up this huge clash of LA Knight versus Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Two new stars, right? LA Knight is not young. He's been doing this thing a very, very, very long time, and he deserves that credit at WrestleMania, and Braun Breaker's the new star. He's the new standard bearer in WWE, and then you get CM Punk out of there, and I've talked about other WrestleMania matches, so I won't go into them here now. I'll be talking about them continuously until, WrestleMania that comes in April, but I think that could be a potential pathway for LA Knight. That's why they're featuring him so heavily on Raw, and that's why they're trying to get him the sympathy that he can deserve and get, so that he can be that mega babyface, win the Royal Rumble, and potentially take down Braun Breaker all the way at WrestleMania. But that could not happen. WWE could completely change plans or go the opposite direction, or they could release LA Knight. That could happen. I just don't think that's the case. I think what I have said is probably true. But again, I could be wrong. He could be getting buried and could be getting released next week. But I think WWE really wants to feature LA Knight heavy and then push him to potentially winning the Royal Rumble in January. But I'd love to know what you think about LA Knight, about the December 8th edition of Monday Night Raw. Drop those comments down below, and then like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.